Hopefully that's not too loud for you. I turned that down for myself. I turned that down for you. Unfortunately, I can't control this at the same time. But hello, welcome back to Side Quest. And whoops, I forgot to put on the get background music for this, but I don't think it matters too much. Welcome back to Side Quest. It's a podcast. It's a show. We try doing better every week. Please leave a like down below. It really helps. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're on Kick, I guess follow there. I don't know much about that. Otherwise, let me know. With that, we have our usual schedule, and by usual, we're gonna have our. This is the plan, and I have some notes this time. You can see I got 2 pages full, two pages full of notes. And I told you I'd be more prepared this week, from last week. But uh, we're gonna do NPC news as our first thing to start us off, and then we have after that we have what why this is called Quest for the Best. We're gonna be rating, or by we, I'm going to be rating Star Wars movies and shows. Uh, and then as well as Star Wars games on the Xbox platforms. Why that? Because I didn't own a PlayStation until I owned an Xbox Series X. So, and then we're gonna finally end things off with the next issue of Batman Zero Year, part or issue number 2. That will be a nice, fun thing to do, I believe. I forgot to like my own stream. Oh well. But that is what the game plan is for today. So hopefully, NPC news. There's a lot of NPC news this week. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of NPC news. Um, but first things first for NPC news is that Scrubs is now back on air. Uh, I actually haven't seen it. Uh, there we go. I actually haven't seen it yet. I intend to. But if you recall, back at the end of season 9, which was I think it was the try to bring it back kind of spin-off season where everybody from the main cast came back once in a while and tried pawning it off on a new thing, like okay, we're going to transition into the new main cast of characters. Didn't work out so well because it got canceled. But JD left. He's the main character in Scrubs. He left and is back in episode 1. Episode 4 airs today, actually. So you can watch that. If I recall, it's on ABC. I've looked online. It says that it's got good reviews so far for the first 3 episodes. I'm surprised. I didn't know that there was 3 episodes that started to come out with, but that was nice. That was nice to look at. To know that it's doing well. I liked the show way back when. It was like a staple back when I was a teenager. Um, but yeah, no, I think that cast of characters is a fun group, and if they can bring the mojo back, more to them on that. Uh, and that's again based upon Rotten Tomatoes from yesterday, 3/10/26. So there's that. And then we have music news. Tommy DiCarlo passed away. He was the lead singer to Boston, the Boston old band. However, he's not the original band singer. He was the band DiCarlo. Tommy DiCarlo passed, or Tommy DiCarlo was the lead singer in 2007. He died at age 60. Sad to know that he's gone, but I mean, when he comes down to old band people like that, I mean, you gotta expect that. Like at this point, like, I mean, take for example, Ozzy Osbourne. You knew he was getting up there. You knew he wasn't going to live forever, especially after, if you've heard of the stuff that he's done to himself. Um, but like, what was it, sniffing ants or something? Or no, that was Motley Crue, I think. Something like that. It was something about there's stuff like piss. There's biting off the head of a bat. All that kind of stuff. It's all bad stuff being put in the body. Either way, don't expect these people to live forever. If they get into the 80s, that's kind of amazing, to be honest. So, however, this is the second singer. The original Boston singer died to suicide at age 55. That was back in 2007, I believe. Um, and they both died, funny enough, died on March 9th, same death days. Uh, Funny, tragic, sad, all that in above. Um, but he died, unfortunately, due to brain cancer. So, if I recall reading in the article, it said that he was. I think he knew about it. Obviously, it wasn't spontaneous. Usually, when you have money and you die of brain cancer, usually you probably had a doctor take a look at it. Uh, and then next on NPC News, we have Quentin Tarantino feud. Like, holy crap! Like, I've heard a lot of Quentin Tarantino coming around with opinions and whatnot. That's fine. People come out with opinions. I come out with my opinions too. That's why I'm doing this. I have opinions. But he's having a feud with one of his old stars. And here, let me get you the article just in case you are watching live. We have the article here. But we have Rosanna Arquette. This woman here, I also have a picture of her up here. She is the diner woman from Pulp Fiction, one of the robbers. She had some things to say about Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, she's the woman who holds the restaurant hostage. You had to read the note for that, apparently. After I just said. So, going back on it, she doesn't like the fact that Quentin Tarantino uses the N-word in his movies. And it's kind of, in my opinion, I think it's stupid. I mean, like, it's a movie. You get the feel you're clearly portraying, and here we're talking about Quentin Tarantino. The guy is clearly portraying a fictional universe, like, in some form or fashion, even if it's based upon reality. Like, for example, Pulp Fiction, the movie that she is criticizing. The times were rough then, and like, people were different than times of like that. Like, obviously there was more racial disparity, I think, then than there is now. Granted, I think we're heading back that way. I'm not going to get more into that, but I think that we are heading back into it. But yeah, she doesn't like the use of the N words in the script. Let's see. She claimed that she recently told the Times UK that the acclaimed film is iconic, a great film, on a lot of levels, but personally I am over the use of the N-word. I hate it. I cannot stand that. Tarantino has been given a hall pass. It's not art, it's not just racist and creepy. It's just racist and creepy. Okay. There were racists back then during this time, and to think that there aren't racists now during this time is stupid. So if in 20 years you make a movie about like 30 years ago and you be like why are there people using the N-word? Nobody used the N-word. Yeah, common people did, but we're talking about people from the movies, and we're talking about the extremes, the things that get people sitting down. That kind of stuff is why I think it's allowed. Is because this is portraying the worst of people, the best of people. That is movies. Uh, there's no other thing to like. Again, it's just take like it's the times change. Yes, not everybody was a piece of shit at that time, but we're talking about a uh, a '94 crime thriller. Uh, I mean, come on. Let's see. Samuel Jackson defended Quentin Tarantino in Esquire about this back in 2019. And then Jamie Foxx about Django. He understood the historical context. They went hard with it on that. That makes sense even more. Like, and I bet she doesn't. She does agree with me on that. Like, of course, like, oh, it's taking place back in racist South. Uh, what else could that be? Um, and Tarantino did respond back, so there's that as well. Uh, and said, I hope the publicity you're getting from the 132 different media outlets writing your name and printing your picture was worth disrespecting me and a film I remember quite clearly you were thrilled to be a part of. Yes, people change, times change. You can't criticize. You can criticize the past. That doesn't make you look good. You can criticize it all you want. It's not going to change it. You just sound like a child complaining about something you did in the past. Like, why did I do this? I'm like, I don't know, but what are you gonna do about it now? Is the whole mentality I'm just going with here. Okay. Do you feel this way now? Very possibly, but after I gave you a job and took the money to trash it for what I suspect is cynical reasons, shows a decided lack of class, no less honor. That's pretty harsh words there. There's supposed to be and hold on, I can't say this. There was supposed to be an between artistic colleagues, but it would appear the objective was accomplished. Congratulations, Q. So he ain't happy about it. And Esprit de Corps, hopefully I said that right. I don't know. Is defined by feeling of pride, fellowship, and common loyalty. Fellowship. If you know Lord of the Rings, you kind of got that right there. Anywho, that's not happy about. Not happy at all about that. We have more news. We're going to skip that and go right to The Bride since I have this up right now. The Bride, open to number 3, with 7 million. It's, bad for budget. $7 million is a lot of money, but it's also terrible. It's a huge flop. It's at premiering at number 3 on the charts. Number 2 was Scream this last weekend. We'll get to number 1 in a sec. I would have thought this would have done better, especially with the names in it. But then again, after I think I read the synopsis on it, I thought, what the hell? Why? If you haven't heard of this movie, like I haven't heard of this movie, it's a dark comedic horror film with Christian Bale and Jessie Buckley. Okay, Christian Bale, I can understand getting into there. It's the comedic horror film. That's got to be done right, and you have to have the right guy in it. Like, for example, Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead. Good way about doing that. This does not seem at all remotely interesting. Because it takes place, it's the Bride of Frankenstein story in the 1930s, Chicago. Again, different time period as well compared to the original. We're going 1930s, Great Depression era, end of the flappers. It's it's like, I mean, you're looking at it right above me here. We have you got, she looks like a broken porcelain doll, the bride. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just doesn't seem like it fits. If you understand what I mean, I'm like, this is my impression of it. Christian Bale, I think he looks good as Frankenstein. Look at that. I think he looks really good as that Frankenstein. Um, Again, I feel like he could. She definitely could have been better. She looks like just call her Cruella, and then you got Cruella too, and that's what this seems like. Like, because obviously it's called The Bride. It's about her. But honestly, if this was about Frankenstein, I feel like Christian Bale doing this, I feel like that would have been a better story than this. Honestly, or at least something better portrayed. I think a lead up into this would have been better. But yeah, no, I like Christian Bale here on how he looks. He looks really good. I think as a dapper Frankenstein, I think if he did a first movie to lead into this, I think this would be a good tie-in into The Bride. But I don't know. I don't know. There were some other pictures. What I see of them walking. Yeah, this one. Nope, can't get bigger. Oh, I get bigger. Nope. Nope. Doesn't make it bigger. All right, I think. So yeah, um, looking at that, I'm not too thrilled by like the rest of the outfit. It reminds me a bit of what's it called? Fallout, New Vegas, The Kings. I swear, if you've watched the Fallout TV show, he looks like the Kings, like he belongs in the Kings in the Fallout TV show, like he's a ghoul. She, on the other hand, I mean, I'm sorry, I was circling over on the other side there. She, on the other hand, I don't like it. I don't like it. She does not. She doesn't look Frankenstein-esque enough, in my opinion. She looks like a porcelain doll, like she was just broken on the inside and shattered out, and that was about it. Maybe that's the point. I don't know, but boy, is it. It doesn't strike me. Um, and then moving on to number one. Sorry, I got carried away there. The Bride with Metacritic score of 57, with critics and audience of 75 or 73. 73. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. Not good. I guess, but if you wanted to see it, you will enjoy it. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, it's with 75ish. 3/4 of you will enjoy it. And then finally, oops, I should probably change that back. And then, or not finally, we have going into the number one. What was that about? Number one box office this week was Hoppers with $45 million opening. Again, with Scream 7 at number 2, and that wasn't even its opening weekend. So again, doing very well. I think, at least performing better than The Bride. Yeah, with $45 million opening, I know it was said within like the first week that that the what was it saying? That the first week said 46, but I looked at it myself and it said 45 point like point 45.3 something. I'm like, well, that's weird. Why are you rounding up? It's going to go up, but I'm like, if you're trying to get the accurate first number, you're definitely inflating. The reviews have been positive of that. It's a Disney Pixar movie. I honestly do not know what to expect there. I have been turned off by Disney and Pixar since I think Turning Red. I think that was the thing that threw me over because it was because when I first had my daughters, that's when I was like, oh, uh, maybe I should look into this movie. Looked into it, didn't want to deal with it, so haven't been interested. If you want to see Hoppers, go for it. I'm not taking my daughters to that. They have birthdays coming up. I have that to deal with instead. Could I take them to see Hoppers for their birthday? No. There's a different movie that's coming out that time. What is it? We'll find out. It's the Super Mario Bros. Movie, by the way. So going back, moving on after Hoppers is the Lanterns teaser. I actually haven't seen this, so the only thing I've seen is that there is a brown and green lantern suit. So, and everybody is throwing an uproar on it. This is what I have on my notes on it. It's a brown suit with green. How does it come off? Not a construction. Like I kind of how does it come off? That was one of my top questions. Yeah, the brown suit is. I mean, I think if it was done differently, I think it's a good camouflage look. Um, I mean, if it was in the actual show, I bet it would look better if they didn't tease that first. If it was like this is the scruffed up look version of it, like this is like what he needs to look like out in the desert. It's green, but he's camoed so he doesn't get seen or something like that. That would be a nice idea. But the fact that it's in a closet, from what I saw, and you kind of see here in the top right corner there of my screen. Again, you don't have to be watching this to understand, but I will do my best. But there might be some parts that you might not understand. I could probably turn that back up again. Hold on.
You're a stupid dumbass.
All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, and again, I encourage you to like and subscribe down below. It definitely helps what I can do. And if you want to let me know what to improve during the show, that's always helpful. I plan on doing this once a week. Can't guarantee which day every week, so it's essentially going to be podcast form so you can listen to it later. Or watch later, depending on what you want to, do this on. Obviously, Kick, you're live. YouTube, you got to go into live. I might see if I can edit this. Maybe. We'll see. Depends on how many people watch. But yes, definitely like, subscribe. Definitely helps. Appreciate it. I feel like the trailer, if you're going to see it, it's got to be lit up. So I haven't seen this. Let's react. I hope my web sounds are on. Should be on. Hopefully I don't get copywritten for music or sounds like that. But yes, I don't know what's going on here. Like I said, all I know is the suit. Then after this is our last bit of news, which is upcoming releases. Interesting. So Jon Stewart's new. Oh, okay, that was interesting. So Jon Stewart, the third Green Lantern, two, I believe, being Guy Gardner, and four being Kyle something or other. Kyle something or other. Mr. Kyle something or other. Who were the Green Lanterns? And I know they had one on the mural in the Superman movie. Okay, I meant like people, not like, oh, like this is the group. No. Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, yeah. Kyle Rayner, that's the name. I knew it was Kyle, and then you got some more like Simon and Jessica Cruz, but they haven't, in my opinion, haven't been uh they haven't been as interesting in my opinion. Grant, I don't know the stories that they're in. Kyle, I know a couple stories that he's in, and I think he's done a pretty good job in that. However, this is John Stewart apparently learning the third Green Lantern with Hal Jordan jumping out of a car. He jumps out of the car and somehow survives. So that, I guess, was the first time with the ring. So episode 1. Okay. So are we dealing with actual bad guys or superhero bad guys? Superhero bad guy? That is kind of yellow-esque. Hold on. That was the famous moment. That was the famous moment. As of right now, that's the moment. Actually, hold on. Let me do this. Remove. There we go. Okay. So there's the suit right there. As you can see in this big form, it's with other suits and suit bags, but this one's the one that's not in the bag. Yeah, it feels like a yellow green. That's just the Packer in me. Uh, but yeah, it's yellow, green, brown on the chest with green on the side. I think this is green down here, where the abdomen is, abs. It's the side. You have black undertone. You got kind of like shoulder pads are brown, same as the front chest plate. Um, that's what it looks like. I mean, there could be a whole lighting issue here, but who knows? Maybe like I said, it needs to light up. So, so a motel got broken down, or they're on the football field talking about it. This is supposed to be a murder mystery too, by the way, from what I understand. Ah, there's a lantern. So, that's funny. That's funny. One of them's like squirrel. And that means more than likely, I would assume, what's his name, is only in this for like a cameo. Um, get off of that. Um, yeah, I'm very interested in seeing on where that's going. Uh, so yeah, lanterns looks cool. Like I'm curious who if it's going to be super weapons being supplied somewhere, another superhero that or a super villain shows up, and I'm curious how they're going to tie this all into I want to say New Haven. That's a Fallout thing too. New Genesis sounds like Star Trek. I could be wrong though. But at the end of Peacemaker season 2, they're leading into the fact that they're taking all the super powered beings and throwing them into a different universe or different planet, depending on what they're going to show us in the upcoming films. They're just taking superhero people, going through a portal, and dumping them off, and that's that. So, very curious about that. Uh, don't know where if this is going to lead into it. I'm fairly certain it's going to be a separate thing that this might have a tie-in. Because I think the corporate people at whoever owns what's it called, WB now, whether it be Paramount or Netflix. And as I went yesterday, that Paramount bought it. It's a whole thing. That was a whole thing. I don't feel like rehashing it unless you want me to. Hold on. Hold on. I had this. While I had it. Right. Well, there was supposed to be birds chirping. Hi, kitty. Nope, 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 nope. You leave that cord alone. Yeah, well.
How about new?
So, all right. Well, then we're gonna. We have upcoming releases coming up. We have Chick Flick Reminder or Chick Flick Reminders of Him Friday. That comes out Friday, March 13th. That's in a couple days. If you enjoy those movies, let me know how it is. I don't know. I'm not a chick. I'm not into those flicks. We have Project Hail Mary coming out. Ryan Gosling sci-fi epic. That's in March 20th. From what I understand, you see the trailer, you essentially know it. What's going on there? I don't know. Not much going. Not too much interest in me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna get me into to see it besides maybe or go to the movies besides because let's see. I'm seeing Super Mario, Supergirl, Mando, and Grogu. That's 3 movies that I'm going to see. But other movies I want to see, I don't know what else is coming out. Also, I know some people do like Peaky Blinders. The Immortal Man is coming out. Cillian Murphy. I don't know if I'm saying this wrong. I've watched a couple episodes of this. It is a good show. Cillian Murphy returns as Tommy on Netflix March 20th. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for that. The Peaky Blinders I know is a good show. I've watched a couple, but the problem is I don't have a lot of time. And right now I've been playing a lot of WWE 2K26 on my Xbox. Why am I not playing on stream? Because I'm not digging out my game card or my game card recording thing and getting my Xbox from there back over to here. It's a whole setup. I got one PC, 2 monitors. Yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the game. So, that was NPC news. So, I hope you enjoyed that. We'll be doing that again every week. And now we're on to the main bit on this. Hold on. I have a bot and kick. Real quick. Let's real quick do this. Stop, dog. All right, there we go. Hopefully, okay. So last time I had kick open, it decided to, go on me, and start playing my own voice again. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Uh, actually, you know what? Let's get at least some lo-fi going to go in the background of this, since I'm just me, and me talking to me is not incredibly, good back and forth, because it's me talking to me because I'm me. And what do I know that I don't know, because I'm talking to me, which is talking to me? Uh, what should I do? I think what I'm going to do. Uh, we're going to get closed on Sunday. I will leave a link down below just so you can find them. Give me one sec. See, if I was doing a proper podcast, I'd be like, okay, give me a sec, guys. And then. There we go. I wanted to post this. There we go. Hopefully that doesn't get taken down on everything else. But, oh, that's a lot louder than I thought it was. Okay, good. Web Sounds is working. I didn't realize that was going so loud. Just want to, again, just want to make sure that I got this going. All right. I'm sorry. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't banned on the link wasn't banned on that. So hopefully that wasn't. I don't think it was. I did close out my YouTube, so I can't check that. Hopefully we're okay. But yes, Closed on Sunday is doing this, is doing the music. So now we're on the main bit. We got our tiers. I skipped out E, and we're going straight school grades here. A, B, C, D, and F. And then we have S tier for the absolute goats of everything here. So with that, we're going to start with a show, The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian has had 3 seasons. It is coming out with a movie. Currently, I'm doing a watch with my daughter. We are in the middle of Star Wars Episode 4 of going through all of Star Wars from beginning to end. Excuse me. We are in the process of going Star Wars from the beginning to end with so that she can catch up and go see this movie with me and actually know what's going on a bit. And then see familiar faces, stuff like that. So The Mandalorian had the first season was good. It has slowly deteriorated as it has gone on with itself. So The Mandalorian, gotta judge fair. I'm gonna go with B. B is a good number, I think, in my opinion. B, it's not average. It started off high but went down. So I was hoping it could have been an A. Maybe when the movie comes out, the movie could be an A. I don't think it's going to be an S tier, though. I'm hoping, this is the hope. I'm a Star Wars fan, not an idealist. I hope it's this. Realistically, I think it's this. Hold on, let me get zoomed in a little bit more. There we go. There we go. That looks a lot better. Now you can see better. And less ads. Grant, I don't know if my pages get ads played on them. But next we have Solo, A Star Wars Story. For what it has nothing to do with the main continuity. It was just the background story, the origin of Han Solo. It had moments that were good. It had moments that were good, moments that were bad, moments that were meh. For example, moments that were bad would be, who's your people? I don't have any people. Okay, Han Solo. Like, come on, like that's how he got his name. I like. I thought. I like. I want to say. I want to say meh. I want to say hi meh, but meh nonetheless for Chewie and Solo meeting. Them fighting, I think, is a good idea. Them fighting on a worn Tauren planet that has nothing to do with Kashyyyk, and why is there slave labor? I'm assuming there's slave labor for Wookiees on this one planet. Is it Kashyyyk? As I may that's the issue. It's not explained, so I can't say. Oh, well, I liked it. I thought the story with Kira was interesting. The fact that it never got resolved is disappointing as well. Visually, I think it did a decent job. It definitely did a lot. What was the last thing I remember seeing? It did better with what it got for the story that is supposed to be an origin. I don't know. I'm just gonna put this at C. So Solo is C. Mandalorian seasons are at B. Moving on. What is this? Star Wars Episode 3 is the next on this list. Well, the reason why I am putting this up at S tier. There's probably only going to be 2 movies I put up here on S tier. Why? Because I think they stand out above the rest. But that is not to say why this one stands up above the rest. This one stands out above the rest, I think, in my opinion, mainly because of the build-up and what we know happens after. This is the final puzzle piece from end to end. It is one of those things of it is essentially connecting the circle. And if you understand, like the line was drawn. You had one line drawn, and then you have another line drawn, and then you have the beginning here of like, okay, this is where this line drawn. How did we get to this point? Well, that's what this end of this line is supposed to be, which I think you had the beginning of the lines, the first 2 movies, which set up for the ending, which, again, the build-up into the crescendo, which then leads into the next arc. It's essentially, I don't know if I can get a proper way to write it, but you go up, you don't go down, or if you do go down, you go down slightly, but then you go up again. Because you're just kind of like, that's, except in an inverted imaginary way. I'm using math logic here, so bear with me on the insanity of that logic. So it sounds crazy, but we're talking about flipping the inverse imaginary number that is the line. It's a line that goes up and up, but you go down, it's imaginary. It's weird. It's a weird way of how I'm explaining this. It's stupid and weird. Probably. If you can understand it, I don't know. Then I'm not as crazy. If you can't understand it, then I am crazy. It is just one of the better ones. You have the final completion of a saga. Those tend to be higher rated, in my opinion. But Star Wars Episode 3, you have the transformation of a beloved character into a beloved villain. And that is always like everyone will want to know what that is. And like that is the hype. You have the lead up that leads into Obi-Wan versus Anakin, the whole fight scene. It's just it lives up to the hype is the thing. It's not easy, especially why I think the build up is what helps episode 3. And then if it wasn't for the aftermath, then maybe not. It wouldn't, like if it was just a 1, 2, 3. If George Lucas made 1, 2, 3 now, and then came out with 4, 5, 6, like say George Lucas was like old or younger, like now, and did this 1, 2, 3 first, and then 4, 5, 6. I think we'd have a completely different trilogy altogether. First of all, but aside from that, I think you wouldn't have much of a feeling of greatness that episode 3 would be, because of the lack of Vader. Like you don't know on how bad he is, because most people, you can't know on how bad someone is until they are that bad. So then we have The Force Awakens. All right, so we're into the first Star Wars of the sequel trilogy. I will not be shy, and I will not fray away from what I believe on this. The sequels are not great, in my opinion. The sequels are more or less trash. I think this one had at least enough to make a setup for what's to come next. So giving that credit where that one's due, I give it at least a B for trying to do something. It's not A material. It's not. I feel bad for Solo. We're gonna put it next to Solo. It's C. It's average. It was made to do a thing. It did its thing. The only problem is that it should have been made to do more, or at least should have been, the formula should have been kept to do more. Like, for example, keeping JJ or keeping the same writers for the whole fucking thing. Pardon my language. I'm sorry. I was not meaning to outburst like that. That being said, the next one is the Rise of, or not the Rise of Skywalker. I don't even want to say it. The Last Jedi. That's going straight into F. I'll give it some credit. It had some visuals. D. I would rate it F. If I could rate a movie I hated more that trashed what I liked, that would be the movie. Not the fact that it was like a good story. It's like I felt like Snoke could have been done more. Yes, I understand like that, but it's like, well, we didn't know about him before, and now he's gone. So what was the point of him? It kind of ruined the story. There's that. I personally thought the Rose Finn love in this came out of the blue. It was like, holy fuck, what? Pardon me. Holy crap. How the heck did this like little 20-hour mission or something? I don't know. It's not time is not explained well on how it passes in Star Wars. That being said, it felt like a day or maybe even a couple days, like not a week. They were being chased. It felt like after a very short period of time, oh, now she loves him? Oh, give me a break. It threw me so far off of trying to enjoy this movie that I was like I was just like, what are we doing? It was like, you're throwing this in there just to throw it in there, and the blatancy that it was is just unbelievable. Um, so next we had the first of the of the prequel trilogy. That being said, this one also has its problems, being very kid friendly and then being very over the top adult oriented. What do I mean by that? I mean by trying to understand the politics as a kid is just nonsense. Trying to understand Jar Jar as an adult is nonsense. Okay? But they both have plans and they both intermingle. Okay? So you have extreme of one end and you have extreme on the other end. You put it together, you get episode 2 if you blended them together. That being said, Jar Jar integral in really the rise of the Sith as a big point into it. However, that being said, the childish aspect of it was integrated, I think, due to the political intervening or political factors that the Senate took in that movie. Because as a kid, I'm like, oh, they're just arguing. Why are they arguing? Taxes? What the hell's a tax? That's what a kid thinks. And so you have Jar Jar over the top being like, oh, I'm going to stick my tongue out. All that. That being said, you have the amazing fight at the end. Qui-Gon Jinn down, stabbed through the stomach. Then you have and what I saw was that online is that, and this is what I saw online, is that they had to slow down the footage that they originally had so that the people could see the fight. And that is not what you get now. It's not what you got before, and I think it's also why people like the prequels, because that's what you get with the High Republic. And or High Republic, the prequels. The High Republic, I don't freaking know really much about. I don't care for the books. I didn't care for the Acolyte, and I don't think I will watch the Acolyte again. I watched it once when it came out. Yes, I watched it all the way through, but no, I just don't think I can go through with that. And if you notice, it's not even on the list. We have Resistance or whatever this is on the list. But episode 1, I don't want to put this with you. If that's going there, this is going there. We have setup. We'll do that. Okay. We'll keep them at C. We'll put you at B. All right. Solo, episode 1. You're pretty good. You're average in my books. You're not horrible. You're not terrible. But and then I will, like I said, I give you credit where credit's due. That's where those guys are. Then you have episode 2 of the prequels. Episode 2, again, as I said, is a mishmash of episode 1, but I think it gets a bad rep because it got played so much on Spike TV as a child. Well, it got played a lot when I was a kid, and I think people just had it on so much that people are like, well, that's a good movie. Let's just have everybody be playing it. And I think everybody got overdone playing with it. So I'm just, thinking. I think it's a better movie than episode 1. If we're going average, I might just move all these down a peg. Yeah, because if we're going scaled, I don't actually know. We're just going to leave it like that. Why? Because I hate The Last Jedi. But Rogue One. That one, oh boy, I don't want to put that with this, but I am going to. It's a C tier for me on that one. Just going over time. I'm going to be going over my time. I'm trying to do like 1 hour shows. So I guess we're going to save this for another time because I still have to go through the book. But yeah, Rogue One, good. I think it's like a decent story. It has led into Andor. No, I haven't fully watched Andor, and by fully watched, think I got through episode 2 when things are starting to get going, and then I just haven't come back to it. I haven't watched it with my daughter, because I know there's adult themes in it. So I'm trying to staying a little bit away from that. But I do think the movie does do well in the last 15 minutes. There's some things like the planets doing that is decent and all. The de-aging as well, I think could have been better. It wasn't at that. It's not at a good. It wasn't at that good enough point. Maybe I could be wrong. It seems like we have that kind of stuff nowadays with AI generation. You could do something like that. And then, what is it? You get like the final conclusion of Saw Gerrera. I mean, it's very average for me. So, and then next we have The Empire Strikes Back. That one I have to put in S tier. It introduces more of the Force as what we know it of today, with, for example, Luke pulling his lightsaber out of the Hoth. It really set the bar because with Luke being Vader's son. If you've heard, or if you've, what is it, the original concept, Vader was not. They were going to be separate entities for the longest time, and that's how it was going to be for the longest time. But with with that change, it really set into the motion of the first 6 movies of the path that they really went down. And originally, you should double those movies because that was the original plan with all this, with separate Vader and Luke dad. So that's a whole wild thing. Different, and that's just a possibility if we went down one path of many. So you tell me if you think that's a good. You tell me if that's a good thought on where we could have been. We gotta give the classic an A. You have to go with what started it all. It's an A. I'm not saying it's S tier. Some people it might be S tier. That's fine. I don't put it as an S tier because I know Empire was better. Like I like that the story fit well. It has a good ending. It's just one of those feel good classic stories to me. It's just one of those. So that's A. Resistance. I can't judge you, so you go with the F. So you get failure because you didn't submit your work. So there's that. Then we got Return of the Jedi. This one, oh boy. We got that and 2 more shows. This one we're gonna also put at A. This really seems biased. We got C, B, and S for the prequels. We have, and that's going in order. And then from right now we have in order. We have A, A, S, A for the original trilogy. There are problems, but again, we're resolving the main conclusion of the story. That's why it's up there. If I could rate these, I think episode 3 is the better, in which I am, is the better of the 2 endings. Whereas this one, I will give credit where credit's due. I'm putting that at C. But just going with this, Return of the Jedi, it had a lofty conclusion goal. I think it set it. I think there's one of those things like you're going to watch. You get hooked in by the Leia and the Jabba. You stay for the family drama at the end, and then that resolves pretty neatly, and in my opinion. And then if you really wanted it to be more expanded on, there is the expanded universe that they did go with for the longest time. I liked it. I just no. It's just one of those things of like it wrapped up. It did what it was supposed to. However, The Rise of Skywalker was the movie that was supposed to make up for The Last Jedi. And that one I'm going to rate C. So right now we have S, we have 3 and 5. So for S tier, we have episode 3 and episode 5. For A tier, we have episode 4 and episode 6. B tier, you have The Mandalorian, episode 7 and episode 2. C tier, you have Solo, episode 1, Rogue One, and The Last Jedi. Or not The Last Jedi. Excuse me. Not The Last Jedi. The Rise of Skywalker. And then skipping D, because we have nothing in D. We have an F tier. We have the Last Jedi. I just hate. I'm not a fan of the sequels. And then you have Resistance again for no applicable or no application because it hasn't. It's not real to me. To a lot of people too. The Rise of Skywalker, I think, did better. It would have been better as a solo. I think there were some things that were really incredibly dumb. I also think that they had to retcon a couple things. I like the fact that they at least tried to, or they brought Luke back out to, be like, I was wrong. I get that. It's just. All right, all's right with the world. D. Now everybody's got a grade, or every letter's got a movie grade. So it should be the opposite. Everything should be S, but can't win them all. Oh man. Yeah. So that's most of or that's all the movies and a show. We have 2 more shows left that I'm gonna go over. Because I just noticed that we're also missing. Oh, this was made in 2020, so we're missing a couple things like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Acolyte. And I didn't care. I'll be honest. Acolyte probably D, maybe C, probably D. Obi-Wan, I'm gonna go with B. I was pleasantly surprised by that. Can't see it. I'm trying to think. Andor, haven't seen, so F for non-applicable. F for not giving me your work. Even though you gave me your work, I tossed it in the garbage. I did not want to see it. Or actually, I haven't seen it. And then we have Star Wars Rebels. We're going to quickly do this because currently we're 5 minutes over my time I was hoping to get. And then we have a whole nother segment to go through. But we got Star Wars Rebels. Some storylines are good, some storylines are bad. Overall, oh yeah, there's Ahsoka as well. There's Book of Boba Fett show. Oh boy, Ahsoka show. We'll start with Rebels. Rebels, we're going B. Had a bunch of good storylines. Not the best, or some not the best. But some were quite entertaining. So I'm going to go with B. Actually, yeah, because the ending, Thrawn, he's not as, he's not like the books, but he is still imposing. So I'm at least giving that the benefit of the doubt. Clone Wars, as well as having its issues. There's more of the Clone Wars to go with that. Oh yeah, then there's also Bad Batch as well. Bad Batch, I'm going C. Didn't end on a high note. Actually, D. Didn't end on a high note. Felt lackluster. D. Bad Batch. Um, and then I'm not going into the Tales of the Jedi. Those are shorts. Those aren't real episodes. Those I get the you watch them to understand story plots of characters you love. However, those aren't real Star Wars story. Like they're shorts. They're episodes. They're shorts. They're not full on. Let's do this. Um, but again, with the Clone Wars, it's too many good arcs that we have going on there. So I can't really put any blame onto them for that because or for their bad arcs because when they did they came back and they had a fire season. Granted, there was one season with the girls, the mechanic girls in the last season that you didn't really understand who they were. They kind of showed up. They're more like filler people. But I was going to go and do another rating of Star Wars games, but I think we're gonna need to do that next week. Oh, I just realized my soundboard is not working. Oh boy. Oh, I haven't lost a frame. You can still see me. Hold on. Hold on. Can you work?
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
Okay. Uh, real quick. Now that we're back in my land. There we go. You saw my background. Oh well. All right. So now that we're back into full screen mode, probably should change the music. There we go. We're gonna get some background music for this. Well, let's stop playing. All right. Now, with the next part of this podcast, I'd like to tell you about Batman 0 Year issue number 2. Going over it. All right. 0 Year. Oh, I gotta be behind it. 0 Year. Issue 2. I also have I have a whole 2 pages of this book. So front and back. We're talking about front and back. So we got a whole front and back of note on this. So let's get into it. So we open up with a winch latching on to an air blimp with Red Hood gang members blasting through the windows, shooting at the people, saying permission to come aboard, and all that. You have Red Hood 342 telling other, there's other Red Hood members. You got 215. They're talking about severing the line from the helicopter. And then uh, he ends up throwing Carmine Falcone's cousin out without a parachute. And his name is Luca Falcone. So he ends up throwing him out, just out of the blimp, just to have Penguin, the Penguin, or Mr. Cobblepot at this point, because we're talking about year zero. Mr. Cobblepot sitting there just taking this in, because what Red Hood was it? Red Hood 1, the main man is after is actually lethal or not lethal, but could be made lethal. The Wayne Sonic rifle. I don't know if you can see that. Nope. Nope. That's gonna be hard to show you guys pictures of that. But so Cobblepot then attacks and gets shocked at when trying to take like he's on his knees. He attacks Red Hood 1, gets shocked trying to take off the hood or helmet that Red Hood wears. Ultimately taking off part of the disguise that Cobblepot is wearing. And it is, in fact, Batman. Or in this case, Bruce Wayne, because I don't think he's Batman at this point. Whoever Red Hood 1 is, he realized it, then offers him a job after killing one of his own men, being like, what are you thinking offering this man a job after he's been trying to, hurt us? Bruce ends up turning it down and says he'll pass as arm spikes come out of his arm. You can see that right there if you are watching. But as he throws a punch, he ends up getting tackled and held back. Bruce throws out more punches as Red One takes the gun and aims it and shoots it right at Bruce, who again dressed as Penguin. Missed him. He dodged and ended up hitting one of his own guys, which ends up, in my opinion, ripping his flesh off or tearing it to pieces. I can't really. Oh man, I can't really show you. It's all blurred. Oh no, it's so graphic. What can I do? It's almost as if I can't do this with a background on. Oh well. Oh well. Bruce ends up after dodging, ends up getting grabbed, and another Red Hood gang member grabs him and starts ripping off his face mask. In doing so, he misses Terry Party member and gets it held back. Penguin mask. Okay, so as Bruce gets held back, he gets his penguin mask torn off. Yep, that's where we're at. Red Hood 1 taunts saying he'll give him a hood or show his own face, but Bruce says thanks. It won't be necessary, seeing I have good DNA, as he slices Red Hood 1 with his own spikes. He ends up escaping with the magnetic shoes that that you heard Bruce was testing out in the last issue. And then he puts on his bandana to go back into the blimp that they are on to rescue the actual Cobblepot just before the Red Hood gang actually shoots him. And then he ends up parachuting off down, I'm assuming, with Cobblepot. Then we go into the flashback. I have notes. Like, look at these notes. It's a lot of notes. You can't see them because of the white light, but, you know, it's a lot of notes. It's a lot of small words, too. We go back into the flashback, but whereas young Bruce was, where we last left Bruce, was checking to use his father's device, which maps out caves and whatnot in disaster areas, and he was trying to use it in a hole. Well, this device flashes as it maps things out. Well, as Bruce is lowering this thing, he ends up dropping it and ends up dropping himself in as well. And then we're talking about young Bruce. He falls down, and in pitch black, his little device starts flashing again. And then after another flash, he hears screeching. He's like, "Who's there?" And he's and with another flash, he's surrounded by bats. Man, I'm a terrible person to be reading. Like, see, look at this picture. That's not here. So then it goes back, and that was just a quick little scene there. It goes back into the forward in time, where Bruce is testing out the winch of a grappling gun against bricks, a brick wall that he's got set up in his little testing area, I guess. Miss my place. So the Red Hood gang is taking over other gangs. We find out in this scene as he's talking to Alfred. And then the blood he took from Red Hood 1 came back non-positive for anyone. There was nobody in that came back positive for this, you know, madman. He feels like he is losing this war. And again, we're talking about early, hold on. Early Batman. In doing so, Bruce wants Alfred to be or canny with what he's trying to say, is that he's not happy with the mission and all that. He ends up saying that your parents would be ashamed of the way that you're doing this, because, again, we haven't actually seen Batman at this point. We're just talking about masks being taken off characters that Bruce is playing as. For example, Cobblepot in this one. And then Bruce responds back, and again, we're talking young Bruce, saying that, like, he calls Alfred a coward himself because he's a butler, and he ends up Alfred ends up slapping Bruce right then and there with an intense stare down. Alfred decides it's a good time to leave. And it's explained earlier that this wench, to retract it, you have to say come back. Well, he says come back again, but he was talking to the hook. As Alfred leaves, he pads his eyes from his tears, and Bruce ends up pulling the hook back and knocking over the entire brick pile over. So he ends up calling his uncle, that from which we heard from his last from our last episode, last issue. His uncle Philip wants Bruce to come back in, but we found out that he's also working with Edward Nygma, unknown if he's not necessarily known as the Riddler. However, he has been known to do nefarious things at this point. Bruce asked to meet with him, and same with his uncle Philip came. He ends up going to the midnight museum for some reason. He must own the museum or something, but I think it's weird. He's still wearing his Robin hat when he goes out. What he ends up finding out is that and I just realized I missed this when I was going back. I missed this in my notes. The Red Hood gang member, Red Hood 1, actually was telling him that, was telling Bruce, Batman, that his uncle was the one actually giving out these weapons to the bad guys. And that, or no, not, that's not it. Is that, no, Bruce is, that's where I got this from. Is that someone is giving the Wayne Tech weapons to the bad guys, but you don't know who yet. You find out later. I kind of might have spoiled that. Sorry. But as they're in there, they're talking about this, saying we need to lock down security. And Bruce is like, I can't, he's like, well, it would be helpful if you at least came out of death. Well, he's like, no, I can't do that. And it's like, well, and his Uncle Philip Kane, ends up saying, well, all right. Douses him on with a surprise welcome home Bruce party with a whole gala of people and reporters like Vicky Vale and another jackass with a big grin on his face. You can see Bruce's shocked face. So, ooh. He's not happy about that. He ends up talking to his uncle off the side, but ends up storming out and goes into the Egyptian museum. And then trying to get on his way out, the door is locked, and I mean not locked. I mean like padlocked on the outside, so he can't go out that way. So I guess he's got to face the music. Seems like it was a trap for him. But he's confronted by a man saying that that's not the way out. And the man is Edward Nygma, his uncle's advisor. He's talking about the Sphinx. He says, have you ever seen the real one? And Bruce says, a long time ago. So Edward, sorry, I gotta get used to. I can't just say Riddler at this point. They don't have the identities at this point. Edwards tells Bruce that he ended up suggesting to do something else for his uncle, not to do this surprise thing. And he says, if you're looking for the exit, it's up ahead through the aviary wing. And then we have a little cool back and forth going on where Bruce questions him, asking if that's a riddle, because there is no aviary wing. But they end up going with this conversation with Edward leading riddles that end up to the conclusion that Bruce's uncle is the one supplying weapons to the bad guys, essentially, the Red Hood gang. And then Riddler, Edward decides that that's too much, or that's too much time. Is like, it's time to go. Because there are people coming. Because he was like, we don't have time because people are coming from the party. They're like, where's Bruce? And so he tells Nygma to tell him he's coming for Philip. But anyways, he says, where are you going, Mr. Wayne? The exit. You said earlier it was through the aviary wing up ahead, but there is no aviary wing, as Bruce is climbing up the Sphinx that's in this museum. Egyptian sphinxes are some of the only sphinxes with no wings. Most have wings like birds on their backs. Ahead up. Up ahead. So, up on ahead, he leaves through the window above the Sphinx. Try harder next time, Nygma. And so that's the start, I guess, of this little rivalry between the two, despite Riddler not knowing that. Future Riddler might, but... Then, next we know is that we have Bruce calling Alfred, saying everything's gotten so much worse because now he knows that his uncle's the one supplying this. Now he's also not hiding. He is, in fact, truly out there. Or Bruce is not dead anymore. Where then, as in the cab that drove him here, as he's walking into the building, the cabman comes out, puts on his Red Hood mask, and looks like it, and he looks like he's Red Hood 1 from compared to the rest, because does not look like the rest of the Red Hood gang members. Ends up saying, we didn't go to the party, Brucey. We thought we'd throw you one of our own. As Bruce walks into his, I guess, living room with presents everywhere, balloons, and a banner up above that says, welcome home, Bruce. And Red Hood 1 just says, ashamed too, you give a good tip. And then as they're walking away, he presses a button in his hand or flips a switch in his hand and blows up what I'm assuming is the building Bruce is in, his apartment. You can see that there. And then you have the next one there for kind of artwork for Bruce becoming Batman as a child. And that would be the end of issue 2. So, definitely ran this over by a half hour. I was also hoping to do a second review, or what is it? Tier list. That's it. I was hoping to do that, but that's perfectly fine. Just because I can't get to that does not mean anything. I do have to, however, get ready for work, so that's why I can't do this forever. Please leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you want. Follow me on Kick. I appreciate it. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy your rest of your week. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this weekly, whether or not I come back Monday, Tuesday, probably not Tuesdays, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, depends on whether or not I work and whether or not I have a kid to deal with at that point in time. So, with that being said, I want to say thank you. And, I could nuke the whole ending by playing What's New Scooby-Doo. But, I'm going to say thank you again for watching.